Hello, boys. We're on. Hope everybody's doing lovely this evening. We've got a special one for you today. Obviously, this is the second ever installment of Hobby with the Homie. And it's a chill autumn evening. We're good over here. We've got the fire on. Dog on the blanket by the fire. The fire's just been stoked. Extra load of coal on. It's toasty. It's nice. And we've got our hands on the new Marneus Calgar. Obviously, this fucker is out a week early for me. So, we're going to be cracking on with a little bit of painting. I mean, obviously, this is the box. Gorgeous as he is. Here he is right here. Lovely. So obviously I've already put the blue on him, and as you can see, we're going for a lighter version of the blue. So I'm just going to turn myself down so I don't hear myself so unbelievably loudly. That's okay. Oh, right. So yeah, obviously I'm going for a bit of a lighter blue here, and I'm just going to be kind of cracking on with it. Probably starting with a bit more highlights, or perhaps we'll start etching out the bits that are going to be gold with a bit of Baylor brown. I think that's probably the next thing to do. But before that, before we can crack on with this, guys, we've got to get into this. It's the biggest can of I don't know if I can say it on YouTube, but I'm sure you'll figure out what it is. It's the big old absolutely gigantic. It's a pint in a can, so I think we're going to be getting into this. I've never had this before, so it could be really good. It could be absolutely terrible. We're just going to have to hope and pray that it's halfway decent. I'm at that point in my life where I can pretty much drink any ale. There used to be just select ales, but now it is pretty much just anything with an ABV above 4 is going down the hatch, unless it's particularly poisonous. But yeah. How's everybody doing? Fresh start to a new week. We've got plenty of things to be cracking on with. Okay. So, Marneus, back in centre. Alrighty-o. Alright, alright, alright. So, I think the first thing I'm going to start with is going to be whacking some Baylor brown on these little sections. It should and will be gold. So I think that's the first thing to do. So I'll start myself a little palette off. We can start having a bit of a crack. Switch to the slightly bigger brush. Actually, that's probably a good idea. Hopefully somebody can tell me what the video quality is looking like in the comments. I am recording this in 4K. I'm streaming it in the highest resolution possible, which should be beyond 1080p, but I'm not entirely sure. I think once streaming's ended, it kind of like lets you re-upload it, and it's all like you can go up to 4K and things. I don't know if it's technically 4K on YouTube, but whatever the highest resolution is, I should be hitting that. I'm also just got a brand new internet connection, so I've got like over 100 and I think it was like 120 megabytes per second, which to me is like it's ridiculous. I don't know why you'd ever need that much. That's crazy. I mean, like, I've been perfectly happy getting the speeds I've been getting. I mean, somewhere between 30 and 50 is all I've ever found to need, but it just means that we can do this streaming at a higher quality, higher bit rate or whatever, and it's going to be so much better and smoother to do that. So it's great going forward. I'm going to be able to actually put this new internet speed to use, so that's excellent. So yeah, it's actually quite funny. Just before I was about to upload this, I got wind of a whole new batch of ultramarines coming out, so that'd be very interesting to have a look at them. I haven't had the time to spare to go over and check out what it is, but like honestly, the Ultramarines releases as of yet, the new ones are looking particularly tasty. I'm not a massive Ultramarines guy, to be honest with you, but recently I've been kind of wanting to collect my own little force of them. And I really mean a little force. I think maybe just like a couple squads, particularly built around Marneus and his new honor guard. Obviously, growing up, that was one of the coolest ever collections of miniatures that the Game Workshop have ever brought out. And the cool factor for them is off the charts. And I've always wanted to have my own. And what better squad to have as like a little display piece? Because mine is Calgar. It doesn't matter what Space Marine chapter that you are a subscriber to. He's a very cool bloke. Probably the coolest chapter master, maybe other than like Dante. I think Dante's sick. But in terms of model presence, there's few guys that can match Marneus Calgar. Careful here. In fact, I'm going to keep a little brush on standby, ready to wet and just take away any little mistakes I did. Like, so yeah, first sip of the fat. Let's see how that's doing. I can see why it's cheap. It's yeah, not incredible. Not incredible at all, but you do get a litre, so what can you say? This new Marneus Calgar is like an example of the way that Games Workshop seems to be listening right now. They seem to be listening with these new guys that they're re-releasing. They're doing a really good job across the board. I think the way that they've done the new Terminators is perfect, like absolutely perfect. They could have changed them, but they really didn't. They just purely upscaled them. It was a real true re-release rather than a reinvention, which I think is something that's needed when you've got something as classic, as old school and revered and loved as the Terminator sculpt. I mean, this, if you actually look at not the last sculpt or even the sculpt before, I think, the old metal Marneus who came with the classic Honor Guard in like 2010. That Marneus is almost identical in the way that this model is posed. The only thing that you could say is different is this thing is like a slight bit lower down. This hand is a slight bit lower down. So it's really true to that classic, much beloved old pose. And I really like that they're starting to re-release things, but paying a correct amount of homage. The Honor Guard is totally similar. They are, unfortunately, they only come in a 3, which I think is kind of shit. I would have liked to have seen the Honor Guard come in a group of 5, but you can't get everything in this world, and it does seem to be a bit of a trend that's starting to try to give you less models in each box. I think these typical squads that would come in a 5-man squad, they're starting to try to get used to them coming in a 3-man squad. But okay, I'm just happy right now to see such a really good release, because this is the hit it out of the park with this sculpt they really have. Obviously, he is monopose. This is the only way you can figure him out. But I mean that's just what it used to be anyway. That's how it was with the metal ones. I think people's gripes with monopose are like they're totally valid. I understand why people don't want monopose so much, and I'm kind of one of them guys, especially when it comes to infantry squads. But your characters, I mean, back in the day, everything was in lead anyway. So pretty much most of the time, it was always going to be monopose. It's not that new of a calamity. So where else are we going to make gold? Oh, definitely this, I think. I might have to reference the box a little bit to make sure. So you will notice that I didn't decide to go with that star thing and the sword. The sword more because like there's no way that he's able to hold that sword, and it's just another thing to paint. And the same thing with that. I probably should have put that on, but when I built it, I just thought, no. But yeah, when you get yours, by all means, do everything that you want. So I'm gonna go in and pick out this thing and make it gold, because that's what it is on the box. And I'm going to try and make this as faithful as I can within reason, because I've never collected ultramarines. I've never had anything like this. I've never had a marneus of any iteration, so I'm going to do them as faithfully as I can. So, okay, let's start hitting that. Interested to know if anybody is working on anything else or working alongside this video, cracking on with any of their backlog. That would be cool to know what everybody's working on this evening. We're getting into the painting season. There's not much else to do outside after about 4:30, so it is the season of the paintbrush. The jibs. This is I'm having to get used to like tilting my head and looking around this light. Trying to set this up in such a way that I can see the model and not, yeah, get my face around this ring light that's between me and the model. Lovely jobs. I've been in this hobby for, goodness, 15 years at least. Yeah, over that, 16, 17 years, something like that. And I've never ever painted an ultramarine before, so this is a first for me. But you know, when they give us an amazing sculpt like this with Marneus Calgar, I'm gonna have to do it. My hand has been forced. Brilliant. Let's get a little bit more water in that mix there. Let's have a look. Anybody said anything in chat? Yeah, no chats yet. Well, we've retained some concurrent viewers, so thank you for everybody who's dropped in already. That's wonderful. It's back in. Super cool, super cool. Okay. If there's another thing that you guys are wanting to be remade by Games Workshop at the minute, do let me know what it is. For me, I'd love to see. Yeah. Hello, Mr. Tweed. How you doing? Very nice to see you this evening. This chilly November evening. I'll say something. Awesome. Thank you very much, mate. You're doing the God's work. If anybody has any ideas of like remakes and models that they want to see next, for me, if they haven't already done it, I might be having a brain fart here. I really want to see a new Sanguinor of the Host, the Exemplar of the Host. That's the what you call him. It's the Blood Angels guy, Golden Angel boy. Dude's awesome. Okay, I think that thing's probably going to be gold as well. I know they kind of did a really weird lore pivot with this guy recently, but I think that came out to be not canon. It was like a graphic novel series. I think a lot of people didn't like the way that one went. I can't remember. I definitely read it. I thought it was a bit strange. Like Marneus was like not actually Marneus or some shit like that. It was just, yeah, a bit unnecessary. Kind of like, I just stumbled upon your channel. Excellent, mate. I'm glad the algorithm's doing something for me then. That's excellent. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I'm glad it's pushing me to, well, in any fashion it can be pretty unforgiving. I find these live streams to be pretty effective actually at finding people. So yeah. Well, you're welcome to stay as long as you like. As long as you like. Pull a seat by the fire, my friend. Pour yourself a drink. Grab a leg of mutton and settle down. We'll be here for a while. Oh, yes. You know, one of the scenes in media that makes me feel the most cozy, makes me feel like this time of year I like to watch it and get into it. It makes me feel nice, which is kind of stupid. Is the scene from Game of Thrones where Arya and the Hound approach some like pub or inn or public house or whatever it is, and there's the Lannister guys, the rogue Lannisters, who are sat inside, and I don't know, just the idea of going in and finding some little hovel to sit in where they're roasting some chickens and serving a bit of ale, just no, that's great. I know obviously they start literally butchering each other within like 2 minutes, but I always like I like the idea of the roast chicken in that scene. The Game of Thrones is what got me into wine drinking actually, because I was watching that scene and went, I've seen these guys. Everybody's drinking wine. It's got to be halfway decent. So I decided to roast the chicken and drink wine, and yeah, it's very nice. Funny how you just take things from scenes like that. It really shouldn't have been read as a cozy, nice little scene, but yeah, it's just one of it. Yeah, it's a good scene. It is a bloody good scene. Obviously, he just starts butchering everybody, but it's just like, and before that, he's like, I'm gonna eat every bloody chicken in this room. I'm like, God, yes, fucking same, mate. I'll have every chicken in this room at all. Red, Mr. Tweed, red or white? Well, do you know what? Back then, I did it backwards. So most people, they'll start on a little like sweet white or dry white, and then they'll move over to like a full-bodied red. I was the other way around. I started with the red because every scene, someone stood there with a cup of the juiciest, loveliest looking like wine, and it was just like it just gaslighted me into just thinking, oh, it must be nice. It must be nice, even though every taste of wine I'd had before that point was horrible and unpalatable. But I tried a couple, and we found like a kind of sweet red, and it was absolutely lovely. And yeah, and I pretty much just drank red wine for ages. But now I prefer white wine, so I'm gonna have to say white wine because it just in more situations can you start drinking white wine. I think red wine's just like a kind of like an evening thing. I'll still enjoy it, but I find myself reaching for the white a lot more often than the red. So yeah, definitely white wine, I think. In particular, a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. Beautiful, sweet, crisp. Pair it with pretty much anything, and it's just nice. Daytime, nighttime, on the roof, fucking anywhere. Lovely. But I am an ale man at heart, so that's that. Nothing more beautiful than a British pint of ale. There's few things that you can do that support the British economy more than be an ale drinker. Every single ingredient is always sourced within this country. They're almost all family run unless you're drinking stuff like John Smith's or something. But if you're drinking beer from a local brewery, you've got something to be thinking about nicely there. A gin man at heart. Yeah, well, my pal's a gin man at heart as well. I do like a good gin as well too. Every one of these drinks has their place for sure. And yeah, one of my guilty pleasures is that gin. What's it called? It's the Edinburgh gin. It's the rhubarb and ginger gin. Pair that with lemonade, and it's just that's a guilty pleasure. It's very, very good. Sometimes I've got to hand in my man card and sip some fruity gins for an evening. I think I'm building this Baylor Brown up because I'm gonna go straight on with the gold afterwards, and I think it's a good idea with metallics like this. Give yourself up a nice base color underneath before you go straight into it. I think you know what I think I'm just gonna do this whole thing gold because if I don't, there's not going to be enough gold on here. It's Blood Marneus Calgar. This guy needs to be absolutely dripping. Needs to be fucking absolutely fucking dripping. You want to look at this guy and you want to think that's fucking. He's got the net worth of like a solar system. Here's the thing. Obviously, these guys wax so much gold on their armor. I wonder, did anybody tell them that like gold is an extremely soft metal? Like an extremely soft metal. Oh, it must just be like the outer lining. I mean, obviously you can see there. It's got like the plate. That's kind of like the armor. But then that's like, if this is to be believed, that's a solid block of gold. And to be fair, shit's gonna go right through that. But I'll not ask too many questions to this Warhammer. Especially when you think that his shoulders are like up here and his base of his neck is here. It's dude's pretty fucked up. Trying to make sure I keep this in in focus for you. I've got a small little physical window that I have to hold it in, or it goes completely out of focus. Right, what else do we reckon? Probably that U on the belt. No, that wants to be white or brown. Okay, there's some little bits and bobs around that we can get into here. Yeah, exactly. He needs enough gold so he's just like on the Fortune 500. You got to be able to see that boy glinting like a sun from over the horizon. Focus. Jesus Christ. Focus. There we go. So yeah, obviously I've already done the blue of the armor, but I filmed myself doing that, and I'll be taking excerpts from this live stream to edit up into a full like time-lapse painting of this guy. So that'll be a lot easier to digest. I just want to do these so people have a chance to come on and ask questions and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I've got to tell you guys about the new FLGS that's coming, that's not coming, it's brick and mortar, it's flesh and blood, it's alive and kicking. I'm from the northeast, so I kind of live near the city of Newcastle, more or less, as far as anyone else is concerned in the world. And there's a new friendly local gaming store that's opened up near me, and it's unlike literally any other friendly local gaming store that I've ever heard of, and it's something that you could only really dream of and hope that it would be, you know. XDem Apple says, how else can he inspire his men if they can't see him from dozens of miles away? Well, yeah, this is the 40k version of signaling flags. This dude's just got to have so much drip that they just hear him dripping from a mile away, and they're like, yeah, here he comes. It's marneus. You know what? I'm just going to do that as gold, because fucking... What are you going to do about it? What are you going to fucking do about it, Sam? But yeah, no, new friendly local gaming store near mine. I mean, dude, this place is so... Let me just put it like this. Two of my favorite things in the world. Okay? Warhammer. I'll stand by it. It's one of the best things anyone else has ever created. Right? And the other thing that I really love is a pint of ale. There's a friendly local gaming store near me that's combined those two elements. So not only can you go and play a game of Warhammer there, buy all your hobby needs, Games Workshop products and beyond, trading card games, all this, but they serve ale. They have a licensed bar, and I'm not just talking like a little table where they've got some bottles in a fridge. It's a full-on bar, hand pulls, real ale, everything, dude. Like you can take your drinks to the table. It's like the best part of Warhammer World, well, other than the exhibit, of course, is you know, having a pint while you're playing the game. That's my local. That's what I've got. That's what we've all got. That's Red October Games. As you can see in the bottom of the screen here, in this general area, there's the logo there. And if you go to the description, guys, and click through on the link, if you need to buy anything, obviously you've got the pre-orders coming up. You can get yourself this guy. I pre-ordered, I believe. And everything's 25% off. 25% off all of the Warhammer stuff. So all of your Games Workshop stuff. There's nowhere in the UK right now that's doing a discount like this, guys. And it's not just a one-time thing. This is a concurrent pricing that they've got. So Red October Games are absolutely 100% worth your money, worth your time, and worth the travel if you think you can get up to Stocksfield and come and have a game, man. That'd be awesome. It'd be cool for some people to see if they can make the travel and come up, and maybe we can have some games. We've switched over to OPR personally. Yeah, it is. It's an accident waiting to happen. Whether that's well, it's going to be a happy accident in any case, mate. It's brilliant. We've switched over to OPR, and it's just been an absolute dream. It's a lot more simple and easy to like get on with, so you can really just like focus on the game rather than the rules, if you know what I mean. It strips back all that like tome reading and stuff. So I mean, when you're sinking a few pints, you kind of need something that's going to be a little bit easier to get on with. So what we got here? Okay, all right. So that thing's going to be bloody gold as well. Okay, do that. yeah, guys, if you need anything over the next few months, get yourself onto the link in the description and order yourself some goodies for 25% off. You can't lose, guys. It supports the channel, and it supports your wallet as well. So yeah, we're all winning. We're all trying to fucking win together, boys. It's one big win around here. Yeah, it's a little bit far for you, mate. But I know you can still make use of that 25% off. I mean, there's nowhere else in the UK, and they'll post it to you. And they're a new shop, and they really are deserving. The nicest guys in the world, and they really are deserving of all the support we can give them. So that's great. Yeah, London's crazy, mate. London's crazy. That's a long way away. Sure, you're a nice bloke, mate, but I can't hack London. I mean, I've grown up in the countryside all my life, so I'm just like, big cities scare me in a way that's just not natural. Like, even my local city, I can't really like hang out in it too much before I need to go see some trees again. Is it like really? Is it true like when you're walking around the streets there that nobody like? It's kind of weird if you say hello, because for where I'm from, it's weird if you don't say hello. Like if you walk past someone and you don't say hello or like acknowledge their existence, they're just gonna assume you're like just fucking antisocial or something. It is a different state of mind. I do like it though. I like living in the countryside. I couldn't do it any other way. But I'm sure some people are like that about living in the city as well. Yeah, I'm sure you'd be used to it. That's a good point, to be fair. Yeah, even like you start just having like conversations with people on the bus and stuff like that. It's just kind of like expected of you. It does force you to be social, I'd say. I heard you do feel like a bit of an NPC when you live in London. I mean, this is from the perspective of a kid who grew up in the countryside. I went to London for a week and just got set loose to wander around by myself at 13. And that was weird, man. I felt like a proper NPC. Yeah, right. No, that's fair enough. Because to be fair, lad, how many hours have I put into this model so far? Probably an hour and a half. I'm going really fucking slowly right now, guys, because I'm just trying to like I'm talking more than I'm bloody painting at the minute. No, no. To be fair, Mr. Tweed, that's a fair point, because when I was in Amsterdam the other week, if anybody came up to me and said hello, I'd be like, "What the fuck do you want, motherfucker?" So yeah, I do get it. I do get it. You're trying to tourist trap me right now. Okey-dokey. Alright, what else are we picking out here then? What do we reckon? What else? Do you know what I've noticed? This has destroyed me. This is destroying me. Look. Fucking not coloured that in. Oh, you prick. What have you done to me, you bloody prick? You bloody prick. Fuck. We're just gonna have to make it gold, lad. I'm sorry. I tried my best. I'm sorry. Marneus, I know it's not what you're supposed to be, lad, but it's just a bit more gold. Nobody's gonna notice. Nobody's gonna know. If in doubt, gold it out. We'll get this little bit done, and it's time for another sip of the fucking facts. The fucking facts. Oh goodness. So yeah, I'm probably only about an hour and a half into this. I mean, this is all like kind of like slap chopped. I will be posting a video that shows the whole way I've done this blue. I prefer the light blue on the ultramarines. Underneath you can see where I've gone. I started off with a strong dark blue. Oh, my cat's about to assault me right now. Oh goodness. Oh no. Biotitan. Come on, get down. No, you can't do this. No. No. God damn it. Be released. Please. I'm doing something. Okay. We're back. What's talking about? I'll fucking remember. Back. Hello. Bit more by low brand, boys. Bit more by low brand. We just got assaulted by a Biotitan. That's very McCrag. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So you can see the strong dark blue under there. That's kind of what I started with. And then I've just kind of like dry brushed shade up, shade up, shade up, until the very last one, which was a tiny little bit of. Isn't that embarrassing? Embarrassing. Look at that shit all over me fucking pots. Unfortunately, I had a spillage, and this is what most of my pots look like, but it's Gauss Blaster Green. So it went all the way as far, but that was very light on the end. I just prefer this this lighter coloration on the ultramarines. I just think it makes them pop a little bit more, and it's just a little bit different in it, guys. You know, I'm sure you'll see many ways of painting this guy that are like you know, like the standard ultramarine Calgar blue or whatever, but I like to do things a little bit differently, if you can indulge me. So what else have we got to pop up? It's going to be nice and gold. To be honest, that's pretty much it. Believe it or not, cat's name, Simba. I would reveal, but I mean, I've kind of got boxes of stuff around me right now. It wouldn't be quite aesthetic if it is. He's called Simba. He's a black cat. I've had him about 12 years. And he's starting to get old. And it's like, I can remember the day I got him. And it's just, yeah, seeing him get old, his little belly's starting to get saggy. And I'm actually awaiting my firstborn to be born. He's going to be born probably like sometime next week. So, well, no, he will be being born next week because his due date's like on the Wednesday or something or other. I'm not sure, but yeah, and it's kind of making me think like my first baby, which is the cat, is getting so old. How many years is he going to be around in order to like imprint himself on the memory of my firstborn child? Is he just going to end up being a story of that cat you had that you were really when you were really little and you can't remember him? Because I had one like that kind of, and it's yeah, you'll never understand. He's like the cuddliest cat in the world. He's slept like on my pillow like a human baby pretty much all my life, and you go through breakup after breakup and times, bad times, good times, and he's always there on the pillow. So yeah, I'm not quite prepared to lose him just yet, I don't think. Okay, how are we doing? Let's just have a look at the levels of everything. Everybody hear the music? Music not too loud. That's good. Let's have a little listen. We listen. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's not too loud. That's great. I'm still trying to get this all this is only the second stream that I've done really, so I'm just still trying to perfect everything, but it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. What's the next bit that wants to be gold then? Yeah, I was right to just blast this whole thing as gold. That's what we want, so we're going to do it. So yeah, very kind of my affiliate partners, Red October Games, to help me get this miniature. I got it a few days ago, so it was like well over a week early. That was awesome of them, really. So I feel very, very privileged to have it before anyone else. That's makes me feel very, very special. Very special indeed. We shall please the people that make us feel special. That's what she said. So just get in them holes. Fucking get in that hole, you slag. Get in that hole, you fucking slag. Lather you up in fucking piss. Piss-coloured fucking shot. Get that nice and opaque with little bits. You know, it's funny, I look at it and it looks good, and I look through the camera and I see what you guys are seeing. Obviously, you're more zoomed in than my eyes, and I'm like, it looks fucking dire. All the music you hear is written and composed by me. Obviously not, it's fucking royalty free. Hopefully it's free enough. Not really supposed to be. I would love to have like some old like Manowar style like classic fantasy rock on in the background. Obviously the copyright restrictions, obviously I can't do that kind of thing, but that would be the first choice. You know, back in the day where they had those old like Warhammer Dawn of War what's that, the old Warhammer game that you used to be able to play or whatever it was. Warhammer Online, or maybe something, I don't know. I'm not quite, I'm coming up with short on that one, but there was always like the trailers and they were absolutely sick, super cinematic. You had like the old big Chaos Warriors smacking the living shit out some Empire guys. Me and my pal, we used to sit and just watch that thing like over and over again. And this is the thing, man. This just goes back to like how much more wonder there used to be in this hobby before the internet was like in its full like swing. There's so much content out there, like game like Warhammer wise for you to consume. That pretty much like you just get into it and you binge watch a few Warhammer videos, lore videos, whatever it is, and you'll have as much information within a couple days as you would a whole year of like looking and reading about Warhammer back in the day. Because you got to like think back in the day before the internet was fully in swing and you could just find all these videos about it. You were basically limited to the rule book, what you get in there, any of the lore books that were out at that time, and then the White Dwarf. And there was like a whole swath of time where like whole units and areas of this game, Mark of Chaos, yes, XDem apples, yes, Mark of Chaos is what I'm talking about. That was it. But yeah, there was like whole swathes of this game, like whether it be a unit or a rule or a piece of lore that you'd only know about because somebody else who had read it somewhere told you. And there was like whole units that were like almost like a little myth where like they tell you, oh, what they look like and what they do, and you're like, oh, that sounds incredible. Back then, you couldn't just like hop online and just, all right, search it up. Oh, it's like this. You see its data sheet. Oh, this is what it does. There was none of that, man. There was so much more wonder, and I'm gonna have to let this cat out. 1 sec, lads. Right, we're back. Lovely. What does chat rate mean? What did that say? I don't get that. I don't get it, boys. I'm too old. I'm not that old, actually. I'm just in my late 20s. Beautiful. Isn't he gorgeous, lads? Isn't he handsome? Let's see. Oh, we've got a reverse view here so we can see what he's supposed to look like. See that dark blue? I think it is great. It's classic, but we're taking him up a notch. So, guys, by the look of it, I think I've got everything that's supposed to be. Oh, yeah. Got to get this little skull. Oh, right. Let's have a look at the reverse. Yeah. Okay, well, it looks like I've got pretty much everything that's supposed to be. Oh, yeah, up there, I want those little clips. I want to be gold. Oh, and I've forgotten that whole fist. Look at that. I'm getting treated to a whole fist of gold now. So blue. And blue. He is. He's blue. He's the bluest blue guy. Oh, fuck, look at it. A little bit. But we've got a rescue brush here ready to come in. Take away the pain. Yeah, there. I can. Yeah. Awesome. You never saw nothing. Right, get him out of the way. Let's focusing on that. Okay. So yeah, I've never collected. Oh, I've done it again, lads. I'm shit. Guys, I don't know why you watch. I am shit. I occasionally figure shit out and something comes cool. But by and large, I'm shite. There we go. You know, in terms of painting, I'm not saying I am not a great painter. Okay, I'm not a particularly skilled painter. What I will say, what I will attest to, is I am a clever painter. Okay, I come up with pretty good ways to like do something that looks good really easily. I'll show you another model that I have actually painted right here. An orc. Oh, bloody hell, look at all the fucking Twizzlers on him. There we go. He's alright. He's alright. I never ever pick schemes again, it'd take more than like a couple hours on a model like that, because I feel for a busy person who's got things to do outside of this, like obviously hobby time's hobby time. You can only get so much of that if you've got your own business, you work, you've got a family, whatever. Thank you very much, Mr. Tweed. That's great. Um, I, I always try to devise easy paint schemes that come out with a good result, and I wouldn't really be bothering to show you stuff that that is like particularly like complicated or anything, because I'm not going to profess to be someone who's going to teach you how to paint a miniature in the best way, but I will be able to formulate a way for you to paint a good miniature the easiest way. And I think with the time constraints that we deal with in this hobby, it's kind of the main focus for me personally. Like, I want my miniatures painted, and I want them on the field, and I want them to look good, but I don't want to be spending millions of hours painting. I just don't have it in me. And I don't think that people shouldn't. I mean, I can understand why some people want to watch it, but when you've got these painting guides and they've got like 30 odd paints that they want to use on one character model like this, it's kind of taking the piss a little bit. Because one, okay, well, I've got to go out immediately and probably spend about 70 quid on paints. This is a Rogel Dawn, and this guy's been painted with like 4 colors, 5 maybe, and a couple washes, and just some sponging techniques. I'll try zoom out a little bit and show you this. Ooh. So this is the Rogel Dawn. He's not finished yet, but I think I've found a really good little method of making him look realistic. He looks more like a historical model than he does a a sci-fi 40k model. That's what I kind of went with. I kind of like the idea of these grimy, gritty, chipped, rusted. It's so quick to do, guys. Other than this camouflage pattern, it's probably the longest bit, but that only takes me about an hour. I think I'll do a front to back entire video about how to do this, because I've got this one done this the same, not totally finished. And we've got little details like mud on the back where the guts have been up. I need to swap him out for a Krieg's guy, because it is actually supposed to be a Krieg's army. There you go, that's a basilisk like that. I've got a plethora of other tanks that need to be done in that fashion. But yeah, anyway, back to Marneus, because he is the task at hand. Yeah, that's just my kind of like mentality when it comes to painting miniatures. It's like I want to get shit on the fucking table, you know. And I come up with pretty good ways to do that, so I'll share them as best as I can. It's pretty sick. So with the format of the show, we're going to be wanting to do this. So it's me and my pal, and he's streaming what he's working on, and I'm streaming what I'm working on, and we're just kind of bantering back and forth and just kind of talking to you guys. And we could do this on a weekly basis. That'd be quite nice. I like the idea of people dropping by. You know, knowing we're coming. I'll set up the whatchamacallit, the schedule, so you can see it coming. You can drop in. We can have a chat. We see what everyone's working on, and just kind of have a little hangout space. Yeah, that's awesome. But on to a further degree, we want to have guests on, so we can talk to somebody about a topic that they're knowledgeable on while we're doing this. And I think that'd be really interesting. The first guy that I've been speaking to, I'm not entirely sure, and if you are actually watching this, Jan, hello. I'm not entirely sure what it is you do, if whether you do this for a job, but he very, very closely follows the Ukraine war, to the point where I would be totally happy to recognize him as an expert on it. So we're going to have him on, hopefully, if we can carve some time out with him. He's accepted and said he'd be interested, and talk about what's going on over there, and maybe hash out some of the misconceptions and get some details on what's going on over in Ukraine. That's great. I mean, we kind of follow it to a certain extent. James follows like the hardware and like the tanks and the weapon systems and shit that's going on over there. But Jan seems to really follow this fellow. He seems to. Sorry, am I not supposed to be saying your name? But I'll not say your. Oh, I'm back. Don't know what happened there. Oh well. All good. All good. We're back. Don't worry, boys. Jesus Christ. Sorry about that, boys. I don't know what that was. It just decided that it wasn't. Until I reset it, so we're back. Sorry about that, lads. I'm sorry. Teething issues. I don't know why that did that. I think maybe Secret Service must have taken me out. Yeah, they did. They thought, oh, fucking hell. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Weird. I think my phone might have been overheating a little bit. Maybe I need to just pre-charge instead of charging at the same time. But anyway, we're back. Okay, right. So where were we? On this little fist over here. Let's continue. Oh yes. It is a fine day. Bent a specimen. What's everybody doing right now while you're sitting here listening to my dulcet tones bobble on about fuck all? What's everybody getting up to? What's everybody getting into? Yeah, what's everybody on? Oh yeah. Excellent. All right, I think that is literally all of it now. Like all the gold at least. Let's do. What should we do next? Let's start on that bloody cape. Start on that bloody cape. Start with Screamer Pink, I think. Yes. I like this kind of like purpley reddy underneath. Start with that, I think. Excellent. Get up in there. I lost my train of thought. I'm sure we were talking about something before. I just went off into the abyss for a moment. Bloody shame. XM apples, he's finishing off. Yeah. Manticore. That's lovely. I have reason to believe you might be doing it as a death strike. In response to my Legion of Tanks. Bit of intercontinentality. Death Strike, I think the Death Strike, I don't think I've ever seen that in real life. I've seen the Manticore, I've seen the Hydra, but that Death Strike, the one gigantic missile, I've not seen that before in the flesh. That'd be really cool to see when it's painted up. I really should be focusing on my tank now, but I got the opportunity to get this model a little bit earlier, and I had to jump at it, boys. You know how it is. Let's get onto there. Oh, good. Jesus Christ. Thread. Oh, I'm gonna be careful. I'm gonna thread that through the legs. Yep. Okay. Alright. Yeah, rule of cool calls for the big bomb. Absolutely. I've got one right here, unpainted. Ready to go at some point. Oh shit. Broken it. No, I haven't. But yeah, you can obviously get the single gigantic missile. And yeah, rule of cool definitely does let's say go for the big bomb. I'd love to know what kind of stuff that can actually take down. Obviously, we play one-page rules, so it's a little bit different. But I wonder, like, you know, what actually is the lethality of that thing? Because that thing should have unlimited range, as it used to do. So I'll tell you a little tidbit of information here, guys, actually. Back in the day, I don't know how many editions ago, but the Death Strike used to come with a very special rule. This was a special rule beyond what was even in the Codex, but because it had an infinite range, it really did have an infinite range. So, Games Workshop staffers who were overwatching a game being played in their store, if someone had a Death Strike and they didn't really have anyone to shoot it at, the Games Workshop staffers could get on the phone and call up a random Games Workshop from anywhere in the country or in fact the world, and get on there and say, okay, hey there, it's so-and-so from this branch of GW. I've got a game over here and this young fella has a Death Strike. And he's wanting to shoot it at something. What games have you got going on? And the other staffer would say, oh, well, I've got a game Space Marines versus Orcs. And he'd go, ah, perfect. He'll shoot it at your Orcs. What units have you got available there? So, oh, he's got a big bunch of boys here. And so someone from bloody Stoke would send an intercontinental missile and hit somebody's game all the way over in New York. And then so some poor kid who's list built all week long, it would just get rinsed by somebody just deciding to have a little bit of a shit on him. And there's nothing you could do. And if he rang up the store and there was no 40k games going on, well, guess what? A fucking horde of fucking Urukai were taking a Death Strike. And I just love that. It's awesome. That's the type of shit that just really enamored me as a younger lad when I got into that creativity, that fun. And that's what this is about. This whole hobby is about fun first. It's always fun first. Rule of cool rules all. And that's another reason why we've moved over to one-page rules, guys. I hope you aren't like annoyed about me keep bringing it up if you're 40k players. But believe me, I was in your shoes. I was in the standpoint of thinking about it like, oh, well, it does sound really good. But the Eternal Crusader says, little Timmy's first time playing his new Orc army and he gets nuked from orbit. Typical GW. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I wonder if they had some more sophisticated system for seeing like where the Death Strikes were, so they could just like whoever was that guy of the store would just get constantly getting death strike. That'd be wonderful. So let me just link this back to Red October Games, guys. If you've just joined, this is the second ever stream, and I'm now affiliated with a friendly local gaming store in my area called Red October Games, who offer 25% off all of your Games Workshop stuff. So go to the link below if you need anything, click through, buy whatever you want, 25% off, best deal you're going to get in the UK. But yeah, they're planning on an event where this rule that I've just been talking about, this bit of fun, is implemented as like a core part of it. So there's going to be games going on across a few different locations if they can make that, if they can swing that, and all the artillery pieces are going to be able to shoot into the games that are all concurrently going on from these stores in the local area. So it's going to be a big northeast wide clusterfuck, which is just fucking wonderful. All those like thematic things, those are what make it for me personally. Like you can keep your competitive play. I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I've liked a bit of competitive play in time. It has its place, and I've played in a couple of tournaments. But in my old age, a thematic game of storytelling with army soldiers between friends. And if we can paint a little picture of a story as we're playing a game, and we can kind of get into the game and almost like imagine what it's looking like. Like we discuss like, oh yes, the way this tank blows up and what it looks like as it blows up and shit, and it's just like it connects you right back to that wondrous little part of childhood, and that is why I love Warhammer. But more so, that's why I love One Page Rules, man. It's just inherently more thematic and just more like based on the fun. Based on like I'm not just that pleasurable gaming experience. It's inherently not very competitive. I will say that obviously some of the rules are not ideal, but you know you cannot get it right all the time across every rule for everyone. Obviously, I mean, like you can't expect that of any game system that exists. But one thing I don't like that they do, and this actually ties back to what we're talking about, the infinite range stuff, is they actually seem to, like, the highest range that you can get in that game is 36 inches. And that's just not fucking far enough. I mean, people would say, well, you know, we're basically like a couple movements away from getting within range, so you can pretty much get within range of anything. But like, I want something that sits in the corner, inches away, that can still hit you, dude. Yes, Exton Apples just said, bringing back a system where the destroyed tank stays on the field would be great. And that is something we've been doing ourselves, just leaving the wreck on. So we played a big, I'll just finish my point about the range thing. I was looking on the forums at people who tried to like kind of house rule or provide points values for higher ranges, because obviously if the 36 inch is the highest range you can get on any gun, and you want to make a list and increase the range of some of your guns, how do you change the point values for that? And people were saying, oh no, you 36 inches enough, because if it's more than that, like if you've got infinite range, there's nowhere on the table that you can hide from that gun. And it's like, what? Like that's the point. Like if I've got a big artillery cannon pointing at the sky, I don't want you hiding from it, and I want to be able to hit you from the other side of the store. I'll pay whatever points penalty for that, but that should be part of the game. So we if it's artillery, we just call it infinite range, because it's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, you can't get everything right. You can't get everything right. But yeah, what was it talking about? Oh yeah, so yeah, we were having a tank battle the other day, and we decided that like this was an inherent problem with 40k. You kind of got these games where you had a line of your army, and obviously on the other side of the table is your opponent's army all lined up. And if you were both playing shooting armies, you kind of like move up a little bit until you got yourself to like a decent piece of cover, and then you just plant there, and it would become a gun line shooting a gun line. Well, we decided to house rule a way that like, when we're playing like tank battles, you've got to get one of your vehicles within 10 inches of a downed tank. So we would just unscrew the top of the tank and just leave it here like this. For instance, you get this Lehman Russ here. Say you just destroyed this, I would just pop the top off and leave it like that. Just so it's turned into a wreck, but now I've got to get within 10 inches. So someone can take a demo charge on it, so then it's counted as killed, and then it's like out of the game. And we found that made it so we actually had to move around the board and actually maneuver around and not just sit in a line shooting each other. And that actually made for one of the best games we've ever played ever. So yeah, something worthwhile if you're thinking like a big vehicle battle. It's a really good little way of doing it. Obviously, my main army at the minute is Krieg, now that they're nice and accessible, and in their lovely new plastic kits and easy to find. And there's all sorts of people doing alternative models for them as well. And we're back again. What's going on here? That's weird. Yeah, so I'm kind of approaching them in a different way. I know Krieg is typically a horde army, but I'm going for quite a heavy vehicle setup on them. I think that's more for the fact that I just had a gratuitous amount of vehicle. Why are you doing this, droid cam? Not ideal. This droid cam keeps turning off every once in a while. Excellent. Okay, we're going to build this up to a nice solid color. That is going to be the color of the cape underneath, but then I'm going to move up to a different red on the top. I just wanted to get a nice solid color before I move on from this phase. I like when capes have got that like purpley kind of like underneath, and that's kind of what I've got here. This is one of those that's not going to look right until it's kind of like within the last few stages, so we're just going to keep cracking on. Okay. All right. Cool. Let's have a couple more swigs of the old facts. Adequate. Oh. Okay. It's super cool, guys. We're retaining a good amount of concurrent viewers. It's very humbling that like nearly 10 people are actually sat here watching me do this. This is kind of crazy. I'm very appreciative of it. What's the next bit? What should we tackle next then, lads? Oh, look. These Maximus Decimus Meridius tackles. I want them to be that color as well, so let's do that. Okay, but that's a slightly different. We'll go straight with a red there. So let me find like a maroony red that I can get my hands on here and there. Let's bear with me. I'll not be long. Corn red. Corn red. Corn red. Oh. Oh, bloody hell. Okay, this is where Relics gets his 2 corn reds out and sees which one's actually got something. Oh, can you hear that, lads? Try to shake it in your ear. Yes, that'll do the trick. Now let's switch to a detail brush for this bit. I think we need to have a little bit of accuracy to do this bit. Spread that. Absolutely bloody lovely. Right. Awesome. What's your favorite, guys? What's your main faction, guys? I'd like to know, because I couldn't even put my finger on what is my main faction. I'd probably say at the minute Guard, but I've got in my collection, I mean, I've got Guard, or it's between Guard and Orcs really. I've got Guard, Orcs, Grey Knights, some kind of weird Magma Dragons homebrew Space Marine chapter that just didn't go anywhere. What else? I think I've got a little bit of tiny little bit of Eldar somewhere stored away. And yeah, but I mean, between me and my pal, I don't know if it's like this for you other guys, but me and my pal almost like exclusively play with each other. And between me and him, we have collected pretty much every faction that there is out there to collect, other than like Gene Stealer cults and some other obscure one that we just neither of us would ever. But I think overall, like, if we're talking, if I could only have one, I probably have to go with the orcs. They're my favorite to work on, I think. Especially, like, my favorite part of this hobby is kit bashing. I feel like it feels like you're creating something from nothing. And just like the amalgamations of ridiculousness that I've managed to get out of those things is just, yeah, just wonderful. I'll show you my looted tank, actually. I think he's got some pretty funky, unique features. So this here is my work in progress looted tank. Well, I'll show you the difference. Like that one comes off because of all the shit I've stuck onto it. So obviously you got this fellow at the top here with his double lucky scope, smoking his cigar, having a good time. Grot on the back in a bunch of ammunition, probably hoying him grenades and bits that he needs. Barrel on the top, flamers, of course, with the little side trappy door there. We've got these little clampy things. I don't know what they do. You'll have to ask these guys. They're probably not very friendly, probably won't give you a good answer. You've got just shit strapped on the side to make it harder. And yeah, more flamers around here. Around the front as well. My favourite features are we've got Mr. Grot there, sticking his head out the front window. And of course, rocket launcher. Gorgeous. And lots of spiky bits what to ram the Umis with. What to got 'em right good. Gotta love the orcs. Some of my favourite things in this hobby are people's creative conversions with orcs. And I had the coolest idea ever, but I can't really make it work in an OPR because there's no open topped rule in OPR, which is really deeply saddening to me. You know the Hadron Overlords, they've got that big bloody massive ship. It's called an Ironclad. I had the idea of getting a load of freebooters like the piratey orcs and putting them in one of those things and having it like as a mobile gunship. And I thought that would be the coolest thing ever, but you can't really do it in the OPR because there's no open top rule. And I just don't know how you would like alter the rules in order to accommodate that fairly. So I don't know if I'll ever do it. I've only ever seen one other person do it, and it was long after I first had the idea, so I feel like it would still be original. Okay. Should have started with this red bit, but we've gotten away with it. Scot free. Excellent. I shape it up nicely. He's getting there. I may as well pick out these purity seals while I'm here. Put the corn on. I noticed my music has died away. This is unacceptable. Dooksy doodle. Bear with me, boys. Can't hear it anymore, so that must mean I need to go in and again. I think. Can't be listening to just me. Alright. Yeah, we're back. Awesome. We're rocking, lads. Move that off to one side. Excellent. We're back in the game. Okay. Right, okay, yeah, get these purity seals and then we can move on. So yeah, I see Eternal Crusader, if you're still in the room with us. Are you after the Crux Terminatus box? I was looking at that, mate. Very, 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 very tempted. Obviously, I'm not a guy who's into Space Marines. I don't really play them. But when I saw that, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I could find a reason. That many Termies is just beautiful. I think we're going to see a real renaissance of the Terminator, which is great because they've lost their way and that they've been really small compared to the Primaris, and it's not been fair. Like they need to be big chunky lads that are like fucking, you know, got presence on the board. They've got, but they're back. They're back. They've got the presence again. They're big lads, big chunky boys, and that's what they should be. You think of Terminators, you think big, indomitable, ever-moving fortresses of heavy elite infantry just fucking grabbing people by the fucking cheeks. And they haven't been that for a while because they've been overshadowed by things that are just like kind of like mogging them, just totally mogged by the Primaris. And, don't get me started on the Primaris. I own nothing Primaris. I don't think I ever will buy anything Primaris. It's just let's not get into it. Let's not get into it, boys. Right, Cape Red. Lovely, lovely chips. Who makes a red cape? Superman and that. Properly Supermanin. Isn't he lovely? Isn't he lovely? I think next stage is going to be Beat the charm, lad. I think the next stage is going to be to start doing the whites on him. There's some bits like this, like Crozius or whatever the bloody hell it's called, and like bits and bobs, and maybe start picking the metal out in the black. And then we can start doing washes, and then we can begin the long slog of the Oh, nearly dipped in the wrong one. I'm probably absolutely destroying some people's OCD senses by using my cutting mat as a palette, but I'm afraid old habits are dying hard over here. Thought I'd just have a little mention about like re-releases, redesigns, and what makes one great. What makes one shit. Oh, Apples has just said, I have one Primaris model I bought just to paint. It's been sat half painted since I got it. Well, I am very aware it's not just me who doesn't like the Primaris. I think like they're nice models, but they don't have that like essence of like what Warhammer was. Like they're like so much more of the more mono pose. That's just something I'm just vehemently like in disagreement with. I just don't think it's like should be monopose. Like I want to be able to choose everything. I want to personalize. I want to choose which one's kneeling, which one's got which gun, and I want to if he's pointing it, if he's holding a grenade, if he's this, if he's that, and just when you take that away from me, I'm not happy guy. I'm not happy bunny. I like that personality. Everybody's Warhammer army used to be their own, you know. But now when we got these big monopose kits, it's just changed the game, and I don't really like it. I like the old stuff, man, and this is why I like this miniature so much, man. And this is what constitutes a good like redesign, re-release of an old miniature. It's quintessentially exactly the same, just sized up. Like the exact same pose, the exact same pattern of armor. It's all identical to what it used to be like. It's just sized up and refreshed. I wish that's what they'd done with everything across the board. All of the Marines I wish had this treatment, but unfortunately, there's no point crying over spilt milk. But I think they're listening. Like the very fact that this exists and it is the way it is shows that Games Workshop are listening to their fan base. They're listening to the people going, we don't like the sweeping changes. There's not enough homage back to the reason that we fell in love, and it's just, yeah. But they're listening because here's the proof right before your eyes. I need more of those. Not yet, just one there. Oh, need to concentrate there. Sounds very Slipknotty, this royalty-free background music right now. Yeah, never mind. Excellent. Well, we've routinely had 7 concurrent viewers throughout the entire of this, at least. That's crazy. That's really cool. We're up to 173 views. Now, honestly, like, monetization is not something that I ever thought about when I started making videos. I mean, it's not something I'm thinking about now, to be honest. But I noticed on the analytics side that I am halfway there to the amount of subscribers somebody needs to be able to get their channel like monetized so they can make money off of it. Not that I make enough views to be able to make that something, but it's at least something to work towards. So I've got to get another 250 subscribers. So if you're listening and you're not yet subscribed, please do go, follow the whatever the links is and get yourself subscribed. Also, while you are here, there's a link in the description of this video and one pinned to the front page of my channel. Follow that link, you'll get 25% off any of your purchases for your Warhammer stuff. And 25% is literally the best you're going to get in the UK right now. So you are winning. What about the wins around here? What? Okay, let's just refer to the box to make sure that I've actually hit everything. I think it's all the red. Okay, well, technically these ropes on his chest are red, so I'm going to switch back to the detail brush. We're going to hit that. Gorgeous. Oh, he's got the delicate hands. Oh, he hasn't half got delicate hands. Oh, yes. Mr. Jeffries always said I'd have a delicate hand. Told me I had to keep all of those private sessions quiet. They were supposed to be our special little secret. Yeah, Mr. Jeffries and my delicate hand. But, jet stuff's here. Oh, yes. Wonderful. All right, we're approaching. How long have we been bloody doing this for now, lads? We've been going for... How long? How long? Where can I tell? Ooh, an hour and 20 minutes we've been going for. I think we'll go for another 30 minutes. See what we get to. And I might have to drop back in with you at some point further into the week. Get this fella finished off. This is a snail's pace to what I'm used to painting at, for obvious reasons. I mean, it's if I was just here not thinking about talking, I'll probably be a head down powering this out. Okay, that is the reds down. I think next bit I'm gonna get some blacks underway. So let me just grab myself a black, if I actually even bloody have one. Seems like I'm always running out of black. I've got one, lads. Oh, yes. So yeah, the format of these videos going forward is going to be much the same as you see as it is right now. But I'm going to have a co-host on with me most of the time, at least. Hopefully we'll get it set up so you can see what he's doing. So it's not just what I'm doing that you'll be beholden to watching. You'll be able to hear both of us, and we'll have a bit of a crack on, because it's going to be a lot easier to continuously talk when I've got someone else to talk to. So that's grand. That's grand. And if you've just joined, I'll go for a bit more of a rundown of how we're going to be structuring this and what you're going to be seeing on here. The idea is to have a kind of guide for a specific thing that we're doing. So for instance, I'll be showing you what I'm doing, James will be showing you what he's doing, and then we'll have a guest on hopefully at some points to kind of just talk about a special interest that they have or a topic, and it'll be almost like a little bit of like a radio show format where you can drop in. We'll be painting some stuff, we'll be cracking on about what's going down in the hobby, generally in life, and we'll be having people to talk about specific topics that they're an expert in or very knowledgeable about. So hopefully there'll be some good entertainment value for you guys to come, park your butts on a regular, and just listen to the lads crack on while you crack on with your painting, whatever your hobbying is that you're doing at the minute. I hope this will feel for you like you're hobbying with a friend. Like we're sat in the room with you, you're sat in the room with us, and we're just having a little talk while we're painting. That's the aim. That's what I want this to feel like. But any suggestions, anything that you could think that you'd like to see, what would pull you in particularly as somebody who is streaming, that's doing this kind of thing? There's 1,000,001 of people streaming themselves painting. What is it about one that would make you want to tune in, week out? Love to know. Just pin this down. Yes, looking good. Yeah, these technical brushes from Games Workshop, they're not half bad, lads. I usually would say steer clear of the GW brushes because, let's be honest, they're overpriced for what they are. But they'll work, and they do have a nice way of curving their way around those details that you don't want them to get. Lovely. I'm gonna have to water this bloody patch a little bit more. This thing is just eating up moisture. So if you are into the Tyranids, I've got a video on the channel that shows you how to paint them like xenomorphs, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's the most viewed tutorial on how to paint Tyranids like xenomorphs that there is on YouTube, and I think it's the most faithful one. I think actually maybe other than Duncan Rhodes ones, but it's Runkin Dodes. What can you do? Michael Thomas asks me, what do I think about the London train stabbings? Damn, son. Man, I have my opinions here. But I've told myself that I'm going to refrain from talking about political things. As much as I often do get into these topics with my friends, it doesn't take us much to slip into this kind of conversation. I am trying to refrain from them on this channel, for myself and for my affiliates as well. Because this is the thing, man. I could tell you my take on it and stuff, but it's always half of the people are going to agree with me, and half of them are going to be offended and think I'm a dick. So it's just best to not. But yeah, totally understand why you're asking me. It's very topical. It's happening right now. I'll say one thing, man. They've been very careful to say men born in UK and nothing else. They've not shown us what they look like, but they've told us they're born in the UK. That's all I'm going to say. Obviously, horrible. But yeah, that doesn't even need to be said. So yes, I appreciate the question. I'm just trying not to go there. Excellent. All right, let's start some white bits then. Yeah, I know, Michael. Yeah, we all, yeah, we know. That's why they framed it like that, though. They didn't show the faces. They made sure not to show any kind of faces or what they look like, but they harped on to make sure that everybody thought that it was a British national, whatever that means. They don't say that when it's somebody who's like, you know, like white British or whatever. But it's like to what degree is it a true problem, and what degree is it like inflated by, you know, people looking out for it now? I'm not saying it's not a problem. It is, but yeah, it's just yeah. But anyway, try and stay away. Try and stay away. Read between the lines. All right, so let's move on to some Screaming Skull. Let's pick out these white bits. Very 80s Ultramarine right now. He's going to be getting a glow up. Going to get some true gold on there. Michael Thomas, thanks for the questions. And do I know you? Have we met in real life, or are you just a passerby? I'm sorry if we have met. But I'm terrible at remembering people's names and assigning them to people's faces. So. Oh yes, look at that, boys. Never? Oh, okay, cool. Well, it's very nice to meet you, mate. Thanks for stopping by and thanks for asking some questions. You're helping me in the algo, the old algorithm. I appreciate it, mate. I appreciate it. Excellent, mate. Thank you very much. Well, I'm glad it found you. This is the second one we've ever done, mate. So obviously at the top there, you see that it says 25% off your Warhammer orders, link below. So I've just become affiliated with Red October Games, who are up near me. They're a friendly local gaming store that has a licensed bar. So there's literally a pub inside of the Warhammer store, gaming store. It's amazing. And they're doing 25% off. It's the online order, man. Follow the link through my description. If you're buying any Warhammer, you'll get it 25% off. That's the best you can get in the UK, dude. Okay, next section. Right. This is a bit we're going to have to be a little bit careful with, lads. In fact, we're going to switch to the detail brush for this one. We can't be too careful when it comes to getting that blue around it. And we'll keep the other one as a quick reaction force to take that paint away if we make a mistake. In fact, these streams are definitely a good way of just like finding random people and getting some people to watch. It's awesome. Any questions are very helpful, mate, because I'm quite new to this, and sometimes it's hard to keep thinking of things to talk about. So thanks for that. Lovely. Right, okay, let's start on this thing. Wonderful. Yeah, I mean, we've all seen this kind of like. I don't want to go too deeply into political stuff, but like you've kind of got thinking about it now. Like we've kind of got this culture war going on right now, and sometimes you think about it and it just makes you want to bury your head into the sand and just ignore it. Like how much this is affecting me, kind of, I'm worrying about it. Especially when I'm about to have a child, I'm like, what country am I birthing my child into right now? Like, what's the future looking like for him? And you kind of just want to like separate yourself from it. Okay, I do have more questions, but right now it's all political, so I'm gonna hold off. That's cool, man. That's cool. I mean, you can ask them by all means. I just might not be able to give you a proper answer yet. I mean, I'll be able to give some form of answer, but I can't really go like in depth. I don't really want to be like. It's more for my affiliates than for myself, really. If this was any other kind of channel, like I started an MMA channel, I'd be going for it. But just I'm just trying to be respectful of everybody I can at the minute. What we got? So what's my favorite Primarch? Go in order. Well, I couldn't name them all, so that's a little bit hard. But 100% it's gonna be Sanguinius. I really like Sanguinius. I like Blood Angels. They're my favorite chapter. So probably Blood Angels. I do kind of actually like Roboot Gilliman a little bit, but he's probably not number second. So definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, Sanguinius second. Probably like Vulcan or Lehman Russ or something like that. And the rest of them, I don't really know much about the Primarchs. The fella to be asking this question to is Squiddy, who's going to be my co-host most of the time. He's read all the books. He's very clued in on the lore to a higher degree than I am. Right, that's one area of this hobby that I'm kind of lacking on. I haven't read any of the books. I don't really like know much about all of the Primarchs and stuff, and that's yeah. Maybe in the future I'll pick the books up. As a reader, like I'm one of those guys who just like fucking reads Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit over and over again like a fucking retard. I kind of like, in terms of books, they take so long to read that I kind of like only want to put my trust in stuff that I know that I already like, especially when it comes to listening to audiobooks. Like Lord of the Rings is on every single night when I go to bed, so what can you do, lad? I really ought to branch out. I've been always looking for a like a Lord of the Rings that isn't Lord of the Rings, like a Game of Thrones that isn't Game of Thrones, something that hits the same notes as those classic fantasy things, but doesn't have that like new age stupid fantasy stuff in it, like dudes with like dragon heads and like lizards and like that D&D fantasy, that new age D&D fantasy. I don't like that like amalgamation of all sorts of stuff. Like obviously it's all fantasy and it's not real, but Lord of the Rings is like within its own setting, self-contained. It's like it's believable in and of itself in its own little sphere. But when I see like the D&D stuff and you've got like all these different wacky races and just things, it's just like I can't even like suspend my disbelief enough to get into it and like appreciate it properly. So what you say, Michael, you said you should listen to Master of Mankind or read it. It's incredible. Well, yeah, to be fair, mate, if I was to read any, it's probably going to be that one, because the Emperor is like the most interesting character in the whole thing. I think that's because like he kind of like ties himself and the story back into ancient history and stuff. So it's like the Emperor is like feasibly alive right now, and then that makes you think about like all the possibilities of who he might be throughout history, and the way he like combats like religions. And The Last Church, I do have I've not read it, but I've listened to it, and that's like the most intriguing like part of the lore for me, is that like how the Imperium kicked off and like all those early day stuff. I think that's very interesting. It's almost like the stuff that isn't actually like the current 40k lore is like the most interesting. Like I really like the idea of like how did our civilization like get to that point of being like totally intergalactic? How did it work? I want like the dark age of technology. I want to know more about that. Like I wish there was more stuff, but yeah, they can't really flesh the dark age of technology out, taking a lot of the mystery away. I was listening to this thing which is from the perspective of a Men of Iron that's like still alive in the 41st millennium, and he gets like captured by some admech that like don't know like really truly what he is and stuff, and that was very interesting. A little hark back to that, you know, the age of technology. I'd love to see what it'd be like if like humans in the dark age of technology had like some kind of equivalent faction within the 40k game, and just like how overpowered they would be, and how much more powerful are they than any of the races that are currently like operating in the 41st millennium right now. I think they've wiped the floor with pretty much everyone. I think that the downfall was the Men of Iron, right? So the only thing that could beat them at that time was themselves, or the creation that they had made. But yeah, that whole part of the lore was extremely interesting to me personally. Excellent. Alright, we're going to have to top up the glass here, lads. We're slacking. Wonderful. Ooh. Overspill. Shit. Lovely. Okay. We'll go for another 20 minutes. Let's see if we can get the rest of these white components finished. And then, oh goodness, look there, I've kind of gone over with that white there. But we'll fix that. It does. Oh, no, that's supposed to be fucking gold. We go back to a bit of pre-gold Baylor brown. You bloody do. I find it really funny. My first stream, somebody's asked me about London train stabbings. That is kind of fun. Yeah. So how long can I go and avoid political topics? Not very long, apparently. Yes. This is an excellent resculpt. It's been an absolute dream to paint. Really like easily raised surfaces that are super easy to catch. I feel almost guilty for getting him a week before any other of you genuine Ultramarines players. I had to take it up. When you see Marneus Calgar, you've got to take it up. My one of my favorite things from him is this there was this battle report in a issue of White Dwarf from 2007. They had like one of their first. It was when the Apocalypse game format first came out. They had a gigantic Chaos versus the Imperium, like Apocalypse game, and Marneus Calgar was like fighting his way through a horde of demons, destroying people left, right, and center. And I just thought that was just the coolest thing in the world. There was some of the amazing conversions, and honestly, if you can go back, guys, if you look at the Apocalypse issue 2007, it is the greatest issue of White Dwarf that has ever existed ever. I think I've actually got a video up on the channel that goes through some old 90s White Dwarfs, and it just shows you how much the hobby has changed since then. Worth a little look if you're interested. I'm gonna do these little skulls as well. I think they're supposed to be gold too. Oh yeah. Nice. Nice. Steady. Steady. We're going to make sure that we don't clag up those little eye holes. Yes, they are. Speaking of little tiny eye holes, yesterday I saw the most gigantic collection of old school like Warhammer I've ever seen in my entire life. There was like boxes and boxes of unopened blister packs from like the 80s. And it was absolutely incredible. It was like an old house sale or like house clearance that someone had gone through. And I've not seen that much lead in one room ever. I think there must have been like, well, there's thousands and thousands of pounds worth of collectors items in that room. It was great to get to rifle through it all and have a look. I'm hoping when it gets sorted out, you find some Kazakins in there. Because I need some Kazakins. The old ones, by the way, not the new ones. I had one single one of them, and it was like one of my cherished possessions as a kid. Obviously, that's fucking gone to the wind. Alright. That's all of the gold bits all prepped up. Prepped. All the white bits prepped. Or some, oh yeah, we've got to hit that bit. We'll hit those. Hey guys, if you just joined, this is the second ever one of these we've ever done on the channel. Thank you for stopping in, everybody who has stopped in. We're just short of 200 views. That's a really great number for me personally. We're not far off the 2-hour mark, but I think after I've popped this on, I think I'll end it there, guys, because I'm getting very hungry now. Actually, I just realized I haven't had any dinner, and that's just simply not going to fly. Hopefully we can get this guy finished before his official release. Otherwise it will kind of feel like I haven't made the most of this opportunity. Almost got all this base stuff on. Excellent. Alright guys, I'm going to end it there. Thank you for everybody who's tuned in. And we'll be back again soon with another hobby with the homie. Hopefully, probably not by that point, but soon enough we'll have our co-host ready to go as well. Thank you for tuning in. If you need anything, any hobby supplies, the link in the description will take you to Red October, where you can get 25% off all your Games Workshop items, your Warhammer, all your bits and bobs. You can't do better in the UK right now, guys, so it's a no-brainer. Okay guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Have a good evening, have a good rest of your week. Make it nice, make it production, make it productful, what do you say? Fucking product, like productive. That's it. Right, thank you very much guys.